Hello and welcome to the first video in the DenScript Uno Kit video series. In this video I'm going to go over all the different parts of the DenScript kit, and this will get you started ready to go and program and build exciting projects with this kit. Let's take a look at the downward camera, and here I've got all the parts of the kit laid out and we're going to go through them one by one. To start with, you've got this optional USB cable if you've selected that. And this will allow you to program your DenScript Uno. Inside here we have got the DenScript Uno itself. Now all of the electronic parts are inside this packaging known as ESD packaging. This protects it from electric shocks. If we open it up, this here is the DenScript Uno. Now, in case you've got one that might look a little bit different to this, it's possible you have a newer version, depending on when you buy it after this video is released. If you do have a newer version, the layout will still be the same as this. It might just have a few extra pins. I suggest you check out in the channel, and it'll be linked in the description below if there's any update videos. Now, the DenScript Uno, as you can see, has got a number of pins. All of the pins that are white down here, these are digital input and output pins. And you might be wondering what that is. We're going to come back to that in a later video. All the green ones are the analog input pins. Again, we're going to come to that in a later video. The red and the black, they are positive and negative. And then just over here, we've got a connector that's black, blue, red. That one is to connect to pixels, and it's also tied to digital pin 8. Again, we're going to go through that in later videos, what that means. We've got a reset button here which allows us to restart the program. We've got the main computer chip, which is the Atmega 328P, which is the same as in the Arduino Uno, and this is an Arduino Uno but in a different form factor. We've got a number of status LEDs down here. The top two are activity LEDs, so one is for transmitting serial data and one's for receiving serial data. Again, all of that to be explained in the future. We then got a power LED, and finally we've got an LED that is tied to digital pin 13, so we can get some status information from your Arduino, from your DenScript, without having to plug in any external hardware. We've also got a power select jumper here. It says V-in or V-USB, and we're going to leave it in the V-USB socket for now. We have a USB plug here which can be used for power if you have your jack in the correct orientation, and your jumper, sorry, and this is also used for programming the Atmega 328P. We've also got a 2.1mm power jack here, and an onboard voltage regulator, so we can put up to 12 volts in here, and this will regulate it down to 5 volts for the whole device. So that is the DenScript Uno. Now let's take a look at all the modules that we get in the DenScript Uno kit. Let's have a look at what we got on here. Again, it's in this nice protective packaging to make sure there is no electric shocks to damage the components. In the DenScript Uno kit we get 5 modules, and we're going to go through them now. The first one is a tactile module. This has got a push button switch, also known as a tactile switch, on it. And this connects, as you can probably guess from the colour coding on the pins, to digital input-output pins. Next up, we have an LED module. You might have a different colour LED, or perhaps an LED that looks a little bit different to this, but it will still be an LED module. Again, connects to digital input-output pin. So we've got a possible button input, and we've got light output, but sometimes we need some data that we can vary, and for that we've got this, the LDR, the light dependent resistor. As you can see, that connects to an analog input pin, and this will vary its resistance depending on how much light is put over the sensor. So this is really good for building interactive applications. So there we go. Finally, we get 2 pixels. Now, pixels are very clever pieces of kit. What we can do with these is we can actually daisy chain them together and by doing that, just out of one pin on the DenScript Uno, we can in theory have an infinite number of these pixels. They are RGB LEDs, so they can do red, green and blue all together, and we can mix those to make almost any colour. And as I said, you chain them along, so you might notice there's an arrow on the bottom there, and that is a direction of data travel. So we'd put these two here, and the DenScript Uno over here in the chain, and we daisy chain the data along. That might sound a bit confusing for now. Don't worry, there's going to be a whole video all about this stuff. Just to note, the ones I'm using here, they've got a black border on them. Some of the ones that we have also have a white border, so don't worry if you've got the black one or the white one, they are exactly the same. Last up in the kit, we get a load of supporting cables. We're just going to go through those now. The first ones we're going to go through are the digital cables, and here you are, you get two of those in this kit, and they are the white, red, black cables, and are colour coded to connect into a digital pin on the DenScript Uno. So there we go. And you get two of those because we've got two digital modules, the tactile switch and the LED. That's our digital cables. We then get one analog cable, which is black, red, green, and this is for the analog pins on the DenScript Uno. We have one of these, and this will connect to the LDR, but again, cover all of that in the future. Finally, we get two pixel cables. These ones are colour coded black, blue, red, and these connect into the pixel output on the DenScript Uno, and then connect into the pixel modules, and then allow us to daisy chain them along. Now, other than the colour coding, you might be wondering, what makes DenScript different from any other Arduino system? I'm going to explain that now. DenScript is not so much a different Arduino, because we program it all the same, but it's a different layout and a different way of thinking about Arduino. We have pre-built modules which have all the supporting hardware on there that you need to make the particular component work. So for example, with this LDR, it has got the resistor built onto the board that you need to use the LDR. We then have colour-coded pins which carry both power, positive and negative, and also the input or output straight onto the DenScript Uno. We also have everything standardised into certain size blocks, and I just call these DenScript units or Den units. What it is, this here is 5 Den units by 5 Den units, and the most common size is 2 by 2. 1 unit is a 12mm by 12mm square with a 4mm hole in the middle, and that makes it really easy to build projects, and then you can have very easy mounting capability of your devices. So for example, this here is a 3D printed 5 by 5 unit block. It is the same size as a DenScript Uno, as you can see, but instead I've just put in all the holes. This way I can very easily mount all of my modules and devices to this panel here. Come back down to the camera here, lay it all out, put one there, put another one there, and maybe we could connect up like that. So as you see, this makes it very easy to make modular applications and to also just design projects so you can build in your hardware much more easily. So I hope you've liked this video. This has given you an introduction into the DenScript Uno kit and has shown you all of the different components of the kit. The next episode, we're going to actually write our first program for the DenScript Uno. Now, if you haven't already, please do check out our Getting Started with Arduino series, because that will help you. In episode 3 of that, it will give you the information to download the Arduino IDE. I'm not going to go over that in the next episode because I've already got a video about how to do that, so please take a look at that video and it will explain how to download the Arduino IDE. Again, that is linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you next time. Goodbye.